So when we have a parent-child hierarchy where we're using unary operators, we probably don't need a grand total like we see here in the cube. So we can get rid of that just by going over to our account dimension, selecting our parent-child hierarchy here, and we have a property called IsAggregatable. So we'll just scroll up, set this value to false, and that's all that we need to do. Now while we're here, another thing to fix, which is not unique to parent-child hierarchies, but can apply to any type of dimension, we have this unknown member that's appearing. Now this is a dimension level property. So when we go to select account here in the attributes pane, we can see that there's this unknown member property. Then we can change this to none if we're certain that our fact table data is always going to be clean. If we're less certain, we could set this value to hidden. But it's a dimension property rather than an attribute property. And if we remove it by saying none here, then we can be sure to change the key attribute so that it doesn't convert to unknown. So we get a little error here because it says there's a setting that is converting keys to unknown based upon this expectation that the unknown member would be there. So we're just going to change this null processing to be an error. If anything turns up with a null key value, we want that to show up as an error. And then let's deploy this. And we'll go to the cube, and we were expecting unknown and grand total to go away, and in fact they do. Now, because we're working in bids, bids even removes these top levels, balance sheet and income statement. Looks kind of weird, so watch what happens though if I remove this accounts dimension and add it back in again. It was simply a result of having made a change, and sometimes it requires us to load the dimension in directly because it will eliminate it from the rows or columns and filters. But in this case, it kept some of the items. It just lost some of our top level items. So here we have balance sheet correctly showing no values. If we want to see assets and liabilities, we can expand balance sheet. We have our net income, and we also have statistical accounts with no grand total because those are all individual items.